leaving.com/golf. Sponsored in part by Edward Jones financial advisor Nolan Webster and by real estate broker Ed Dream at leavingil.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Selling a collection or just the high-end antiques? Get top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
A lot of good news happening. Lots and lots and lots.
A former Justice Department prosecutor is facing criminal charges. They relate to special counsel Jack Smith's investigation of President Trump. Federal prosecutors say Carmen Lineberger secretly emailed...
Carmi Lineberger. Limeyburger? Boy, that's an unfortunate name. I'd like a table for two. Limeyburger? Get the hell out of here, you rat pig Democrat. What I love about this is it proves the other allegations. That pock-faced scumbag, Jack Smith, was an apparatchik of the corrupt Democrat mafia. See, in case you didn't know, Jack Smith's wife is a producer, allegedly, but really just a bag woman, and they run all the enriching to the Obamas through Netflix. And they get all kinds of breaks and benefits and money from taxpayers. And they run this organization by weaponizing the Department of Justice, at least up until now.
Over the weekend, Mr. President, he suggested that there's still people in your DOJ and FBI that are waiting you out. They're waiting until your administration is over to get back to work. Do you think those people are still in the DOJ and FBI?
I hope not. Well, if they are, we're going to seek them out. We'll seek them out. We'll get rid of them. Okay? Because you have in every agency, you have scum. And certainly they did in the FBI and DOJ. But Todd Blanche is doing a fantastic job. Cash.
I like what he called them. Scum. Like the scum that destroy our great city, the scum that destroy Cook County, the scum that destroy Illinois or Dalton or Harvey or Cal City, all the same scum.
A former Justice Department prosecutor is facing criminal charges. They relate to special counsel Jack Smith's investigation of President Trump. Federal prosecutors say Carmen Lineberger secretly emailed sensitive investigative documents to her personal accounts. The indictment allegedly occurred while she served as a senior federal prosecutor in South Florida. Lineberger is accused of disguising the files with names like chocolate cake recipe and bundt cake recipe to conceal.
Do you know why? Lineberger, like so many of the Duchess of Chaffington supporters, has a big fat ass. And she figured if we hide it under delicious foods, who will know? After all, I'm just a Hillary Clinton lookalike and supporter.
Conceal the transmissions from government record searches. In a social media post, FBI Director Kash Patel called the investigation politicized and said the Bureau would hold accountable those who abuse the public's trust. Lineberger pleaded not guilty in federal court yesterday. She faces charges including obstruction of justice, concealment of government records, and theft of government property.
Now, hopefully, when you put her in jail, she won't enjoy hedonism the way Hillary Clinton and Uma Aberdeen would by perfecting the scissors.
Fox News alert, Republican Senator Chuck Grassley releasing bombshell evidence tying Hillary and Obama to the Russia hoax. One email says, quote, HRC approved campaign advisor Julie's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing emails. Here's another smoking gun. Quote, among other things, the Clinton staff with support from special services is preparing scandalous revelations of business relations between Trump and the Russian mafia. Who's special services?
See, the allegations that I make are between the Democrats and the limp-wristed mafia, the ones that run these Democrat dungholes, once great areas. It's real easy to spot. And you know what you need to wrap up all this government corruption? You need dirty fracking cops. And are there any dirtier fracking cops than the Capitol Police? I'm talking to you scumbags, not just the ones who assassinated Ashley Babbitt, but this meatball. I'll ear slap the taste out of this. How do you say his name? Fanoni. Yeah, That's about right.
Calls are growing for a full audit of former D.C. Metro Police Officer Michael Fanone's bank accounts after recently released body cam footage from January 6, 2021 shows medics telling him he had, quote unquote, no severe injuries and everything was fine. This directly contradicts his later hospital bed photos, media tour, and sworn congressional testimony.
Because like a whore, they gave him a big lump of money and he faked his injuries. And they dropped evidence. They dropped everything, including gun magazines, on that PSYOP fraud perpetrated by our crooked rat coppers in the Capitol Police and the FBI.
January 6, 2021, 2:41 p.m. Watch closely as this United States Capitol Police officer is about to drop a gun magazine on the ground moments before election theft protesters make entrance into the Capitol. Pay attention to his hands as he will quickly toss it to the side. There it is, a magazine for a handgun.
Throws it against the wall, Squirrel. It's for everyone to see.
Do you see it?
It's a little different on radio, but you get the bigger picture. Now another Capitol policeman.
Now watch as another officer walks right beside the magazine,
right past it,
almost stepping on it, while another stands feet away and doesn't notice a gun magazine laying on the ground in the heart of democracy.
About nearly dying. Medics examined Fanone on scene. Watch.
No obvious severe injuries. Can't find any fractures. Pupils are equal. Open mouth. All right. Dizzy at all? You can stay here and rest until you're feeling better. Thanks. Need some water to wash out the...
He flopped on the ground like a crooked fighter that took a dive. That's the Fanone. And January 6th coppers throwing the evidence around and walking past it. And people will say, well, after all, it's just 3 Democrats with costumes on posing as police. And everybody knows from the Democrats we see around us, they're stupid. Shouldn't you cut them a break? No. They all received a payoff. Like Fanone.
You see us? No, it's fine now. It's my fault.
He's okay now? You okay?
Go ahead, Jimmy. I'm out here on the south, right where we walked in.
Fraud. And you know the nice thing about these Democrat gangsters who pose as congressmen and senators? They don't even have to run it through their campaign coffers. I mean, after all, if you just take Nancy Pelosi, she's worth $500 million in the Ro Khanna insider trading fashion.
She makes, I think, $174,000 a year, yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million. In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic to me, grew 70% in 1 year in 2024, and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
And Tom Massey, he would have palled around with Nancy, too, if she could get off the table and put her top on the whore. Glenn, Oak Creek, Wisconsin.
Hi. I got a question for you. I heard you talking about Tucker Carlson and them, and I can't believe what has happened to them. But I have 2 great sons. Both of them drive for DHL. The oldest, we used to talk about conservative stuff a lot. Well, he has been listening to that Nick Fuentes guy, and he's been saying not bad anti-Semitic type things, but just things like, well, yeah, I heard that Israel runs the government and the AI, this and that. And can you tell me more about?
Well, did you hear my first hour?
A little bit. That's why I'm calling.
All right. Well, you're gonna love it. You go online tonight, today on 560 The Answer. Google my name and look it up, because what he is a true fraud. He's a true fraud. He's somebody who is a direct recipient of money from Qatar, the Middle East, and he's somebody who has no qualifications anyway. He's a punk kid. Never worked a day in his life, has his communion suit on, and all you have to do to tell your son, which he probably doesn't know, is that he's built a little bit of a cult. They're called something. What is it called? Gropers, bunch of sick morons. Listen to this. Just listen to this so you could tell your son, Glenn.
Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes. Raise your right hand. All right, everybody raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I will kill, rape, and die for Nicholas J. Fuentes.
Now, he's not That's not a comedy act or a bit or anything else. This is how his show used to run, Glenn. So you tell your kid, you got to be smarter than that than to listen to this scumbag. And if you want to listen to him, just turn on any of these other podcasters. This girl, I believe, what's her name? Caspian? Something Caspian. She used to be on Young Turks on a communist. This is a Democrat and supposedly the guy who is kind of on the right, but we don't know.
Our country is under a hostile occupation.
Israeli occupation of the United States government.
Israel controls our government.
Israel controls our government.
Control and influence and manipulate our system.
Ruled and controlled and manipulated by the nation state of Israel.
They are vampires. They suck our blood.
They suck the life out of this country.
So you understand they get their talking points from Qatar. And Qatar, by the way, gives 3 times, 300% more money to propagandists, to politicians in America than AIPAC. Did you know that, Glenn?
No, but that's very interesting. And what my friend said is that what Nick Fuentes does is he'll throw a little bit of truth in with a bunch of garbage and the way he says it and talks so fast.
Like
a cult.
It's a cult. It's a cult. He's a con artist. He's a punk kid. Tell your son you don't listen to anybody who never worked in their life. Number one, let's start with one simple rule. Only take advice and opinions by people who have earned it. That's simple. With some punk kid, never did anything in his life except make a lot of money because he's bribed to.
Let's talk AIPAC. I'm sure that you've seen the graphics and the headlines about how Israel controls our country, right? And at first glance, it's easy to believe because there's so much information out there, but I wanted to know the facts, so I went down a rabbit hole and I looked it all up. So let's start with the Foreign Agents Registration Act. That's called FARA. Basically, if you work for a foreign country trying to influence American policy, you got to register under this law. Right? So who signed up? Qatar, they have 31 registered agents. Israel has 15, more than double. I also found out that from 21 to 25, Qatari agents had 627 in-person meetings with members of Congress. That's 300 more meetings than any other country on the earth, including Israel. Now, about AIPAC, they're made up of Americans lobbying their own government. Just like Indian Americans have USIPAC, Armenian Americans have ANCA, the Greek Americans have HALC, H-A-L-C, Ukrainian Americans have, I think it's UCCA, Muslim Americans have CARE, MPAC, USCMO, and dozens more, and none of these groups are really the problem. The real problem is foreign government money. I mean, Qatar spent roughly $250 million on U.S. lobbying. Saudi Arabia around $310 million. UAE is in the 4th most active country. It's 3 Gulf states. China, $500 million. Japan, $400 million. And as a comparison, AIPAC and the entire broader pro-Israel network gave around $100 million in the 24 cycle.
So Israel owns our country because they gave $100 million. Qatar gave $400. China gave $500. UAE gave $400. And they don't own the country? Only the Jew does? Now,
Qatar. Oh, sorry.
No, you've been around a while, right, Glenn?
Yeah.
Okay, right? You've been around a while. You ever have a Jewish fella, a Jew in your neighborhood, come on television and tell you you're going to convert to Judaism and Judaism will be in every home? Did you ever hear of the Jewish fatwa, whatever, where they're going to kill the infidel and take over America? Did you ever hear that?
I only know one person from Israel, and he's a doctor, and I've never heard anything.
Yeah, and the best guy of your life. You know why? I only like religions that don't want me in it, Glenn. The ones that want me to conform, I'm not interested. Not to mention there's that sticky little problem with them and the pedophiles. 312-642-5600.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show, where Democrats are always wrong